and our country. And that's the choice at this election. Do we build on that progress that we've all collectively made and go forward? Or do we go back to square one with no plan and no certainty? Now, the only certainty you're going to get with the Labour Party is that they're going to run out of money and put up your taxes. As clear as night follows day. Now, we've crunched the numbers. Actually, not we, actually. The Treasury, the officials at the Treasury have crunched the numbers, totted up all the things they said they want to spend money on and all the ways that they haven't found to pay for them and figured out what it's going to cost you. And I can tell you, it's going to cost you £2,000 each. £2,000 for every working family in our country in higher taxes to pay for their long list of things, right? That's not going to bring financial security to you and your family. Now, you all know, you read newspapers, you turn on telly every day. Whether we like it or not, we're living in a more dangerous and uncertain time than we have in decades. Iran, Russia, North Korea, China, working together in ways which threaten our values, our interests, not just abroad, but here at home too. States weaponizing migration to threaten the integrity of our borders. And these uncertain times call for a bold plan, clear action so that we can secure the future of our country, chart a course to a more secure future for all of you. And that's what you'll get with us. Let's just take the topic of illegal migration, something I know is important to all of you, something Jonathan and I speak about a lot. Right? It's fundamentally unfair that people jump the queue and come to our country illegally, puts pressure on local services, whether it's hotels here or elsewhere, puts people's lives at risk. It's simply not right. We've got a bold plan to deal with the boats. Right? And when I first announced it, or announced by my predecessor, and I first got this job, people said, oh no, this is not the right thing to do. Do you know what? Now, across Europe, the penny has dropped that our approach is the right approach. Because unless people know that if they come here illegally, they won't be able to stay, and we will be able to remove them, we won't be able to have a proper deterrent and stop them coming in the first place. Now, everyone else is realizing that. One person doesn't, Keir Starmer. It's been very clear. He is going to let out all the people that we have detained to go on those flights. He's going to cancel those flights, offer an amnesty to illegal migrants, and all that's going to do is make us the soft touch of Europe, a magnet for hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants from across Europe all to come here. In any way you look at it, the Labour Party are not going to deliver a secure future for any of us on any dimension that you care about. Now look, Labour also want you to think that this election is over before it has even begun. Well, you know what? I don't think this election is a foregone conclusion. I'm going to fight very hard every single day to earn your trust. And I also don't think the British people being taken for granted. Right? We're going to keep putting bold actions on the table that I think are going to transform this country for the better. You saw that just over the last few days. Our plan, a new version of national service, so young people can get the skills, opportunities that they need, that we can foster a culture of service in our country to make our society more cohesive, so that we can strengthen our country's resilience and security for the long term. Right? That is a bold plan. What's the contrast? Keir Starmer gave another half-an-hour speech yesterday. Right? Can any of you name a single new idea that came out of that speech? A single bold thing that's going to change our country for the better? No, because he's taking the country for granted, assuming he can waltz into Downing Street without saying what he's going to do, without having the courage to tell you about his plans. Right? And this is someone, if he was happy to abandon every single promise he made to become Labour leader once he got the job, what makes you think that he won't do exactly the same thing if he ever became Prime Minister? If he can't stand for anything himself, how can he stand up for all of you? Now, in contrast, we are prepared to take bold action. We do have a clear plan, and that is how we're going to deliver a secure future for you and your families. Right? I want to build a Britain where we can have a renewed sense of confidence in ourselves, in our communities, pride in our country, a country where your hard work is rewarded, where we continue to cut your taxes, a country where the opportunities that were there for the previous generation are going to be there for the next generation, and a country where our defence and safety is assured. That is the secure future that I'm working towards, and with your support, that's what I will deliver for all of you. Thank you very much for having me. All right. Okay, right, we got some questions. Who's got the first question? We got microphone, anyone? Right, yep. Oh, boss, right, okay. Okay, fair enough.
We're a growing business, yeah? We have no problem to recruit good, hard-working people in Stoke, and they're willing to learn. What we do have is we have a skills gap, in particular with engineering and then material science. My question is, what will you do to the education system to ensure that we're getting this technical orientation to our education and fill those skills gaps for us?
Yeah. I think education is the most powerful way that we have to transform people's lives. So not only is it going to be great for your business if we get this right and the economy, but for every person, every young person who we can provide the best education for, it's the best way we can make sure that they have an incredible life. That's what happened to me. It's what my parents did. That's what I want to do for every young kid in our country. And I'm really glad you brought up this topic of engineering, because I've been going on for a while now about the need for our society to prioritize maths. Because we're not going to be able to train people in the skills of the future, the jobs of the future, particularly in things like material science and engineering, unless we have more maths. And we as a country have not prioritised maths in the way that we should have done. We're one of the few countries in the world where we say to our young people, you don't have to study maths up to 18, and I want to change that. Now, that doesn't mean everyone has to study maths A-level. Of course that's not right for everyone. Just being more familiar with maths is a good thing for the country, good for individuals, and it's going to be great to get you the young people that you need with the skills that they need. But we're not going to be able to do that unless we have fantastic teachers, right? Jonathan knows a thing or two about that, as does his wife. So one thing that I've created is a new bursary. So for teachers that are going to go and teach STEM subjects like maths, they can now earn £30,000 extra on top of their salary in a tax-free bursary for the first few years of their career, so that we can attract fantastic teachers to teach these STEM subjects, not just maths. But crucially also, something else that Jonathan and I have talked about, when we did these things in the past, people just focused on schools. And I thought, that's not right. We've got fantastic colleges, technical colleges, FE colleges across our country, and we've made sure that those bursaries for the first time are available to teachers who are going to teach in those FE colleges too. Because if we really want an education system that's going to be fit for the future, not just for your business, but for the young people, we need to prioritise technical education too. We need to prioritise our FE colleges, and that's exactly what we're doing. All right, who's next? Actually, I'd add on that, sorry, contrast. The other thing that we're very passionate about is apprenticeships, right? And I know I've met a couple, I think, here today, and that's something that is also really important to us. And we are a party that believes in increasing the quality and quantity of apprenticeships. A great route for young people to get into work. Not everyone has to go to university. And that's a clear choice at this election, because the Labour Party are still clinging to this idea that the only way to succeed in life is to go to university. That's simply not right. So we want to make sure that there's a high-quality apprenticeship in every career. That's what we're doing. More money behind them. Their plans will halve the number of apprenticeships. Right? That's a pretty clear choice of this election. If you think apprenticeships are a good thing and you want more of them, vote for us. If you think the only route to success is university and you want fewer apprenticeships, then they're the people. All right, next, who have we got? Oh, yes. You too, Dawn.
Hi.
You've come prepared.
I have come prepared. It won't turn into the Dawn show, though. National Service. The reason I've brought it up, I've got, and it leads on from your previous question. I've got two sons who would definitely have benefited from this. But I wanted to know if that could be broadened to cover ex-convicts from prison, perhaps. Just because I think that some would benefit from the structure and the guidance, the rules that National Service provide.
Yeah, how old are your two sons, you said, Dawn? How old are they?
Two sons. I've got one 21 nearly, and one nearly 30.
Nearly 30. Oh, great.
Yeah, so there's they're
and
grown
you think
up.
this would have been a good thing for them?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because without sounding disrespectful to them, they're more brawn than brains.
Let's hope they're not watching, all right?
Just being truthful, sorry. Okay. So yes, they would have benefited.
Actually, it's really, really nice to hear your reflection. So look, I've been talking to people across the country about this since we made the announcement, and I'm really excited about this. Let me just tell you a little bit why. Because I have 2 young girls. They're a bit younger than your boys. They're 11 and 13, and I'm definitely not going to talk about them in front of all these cameras, so I don't get in trouble later. But, you know, and I've been talking to a lot of people, actually, since the time I've had this job, about what can we do to really transform our country for the better. And if I think about national service, I think for young people, as you said, doing something that provides them with skills and opportunities is going to be really transformational for their lives, right? And all the things that you said, some structure, some rules, a sense of belonging and identity. And actually, I believe service gives you purpose. And I think it will be really brilliant for young people to have this rite of passage that they go through with everything that it teaches them and just keeps them out of trouble. I talk to so many parents worried about what their kids are doing in the evenings, at the weekends, getting into, you know, and we also see all the stories. So I think this will be wonderful for young people, but I also think it'll be great for our country. And I think all of us have felt like our society could do with being more cohesive, right? Reminding us all that we're all on the same side, bringing us together. And this will do that. It will foster that culture of service and make our society more cohesive. But it also, in a very uncertain time, will make our country more safe. So in years to come, when we have thousands and thousands of people who have been trained in things that are practically helpful for our country's resilience or our security. And remember, there's a choice. So if people want to, they can do the military component of this, but it will be very competitive and selective. And for everyone else, there'll be civic roles, whether it's search and rescue, first aid, lifeboats, you know, helping elderly people. But all of these things will just contribute to our country's resilience and our security. So I think it's going to be fantastic. It will become a rite of passage, an important part of who we are as a nation. And actually, everywhere I've been going, people have wanted to talk to me about it, and they've said what you said. Actually, and funnily enough, the question I thought I get a lot of people saying, oh, I don't think I do want to do this, or my kids don't want to do this. I've heard exactly what you said. They said, well, my kids are a bit older. Can they still go back and do it, right? Or as you said, can we extend it to different groups who might benefit from it, which I think is a really good sign that we're onto something. And the important thing to leave you with, right, whatever you might think of this idea, and not all of you, I'm sure, will agree with it, I hope you can see that it is bold, right, that it is potentially transformational for our country, and that's what we're about, right? Because we're in a very important time, right? This is not a time for half measures, right? We've built all this stability, we've got through the hard times, we've got to look to the future now, and I want to deliver for all of you a more secure future, for your families, for our country. We're not going to do that unless we're prepared to take bold action, if we've got a clear plan. And this is an example of exactly that. And that's why I'm really excited for what it can do for our country. And I'm glad that glad you love it, Dawn. Thank you. Right, who's next? Right, yes, sir, do you have a question? Oh, yes, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Right, there was someone over here.
Hello, Prime Minister. I'm Keith Lockett's #1 forklift driver.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, why can't we have a bank holiday for England? St. George's Day.
Yeah, no, that's fair, look, it's fair enough. I do get asked this a lot. And look, I think we all love to have days off, right? Let's be honest. I would definitely love a day off now and then, I can tell you that. But look, there's lots of other things that come along with bank holidays and the impact they have, which we need to take into account. But the thing that you touched on, though, which is important, is look, taking a moment to celebrate and be proud of who we are and our country. And that is an incredible thing. And whether we need bank holiday for that is a separate thing, but we should never be ashamed to be proud of our identity, of who we are as a country. And actually, what we've seen over the last several months in particular is, sadly, there are forces who are trying to divide us, right? Who are trying to emphasize all the differences. And I think that's sad, and it's wrong, right? And there are people who are trying to say, no, you can't believe this, and you should be ashamed of this part of our history and our past. And I say that that's wrong, right? Of course, no country is perfect, but I'm enormously proud of what our country has done for everyone, not just here, but around the world. The values that we stand for are something that we can all be extraordinarily proud of. And it's not just on a bank holiday, it's every day that we should be proud of that. And I'm living proof of what our country does. Look what it's done, like a country that welcomed my family here, right? My grandparents here from halfway around the world, gave them the chance to work hard, said to them, look, if you integrate and put in, we'll provide the opportunities for you to succeed. That's what my parents did, that's what my grandparents did, and I'm standing here talking to you now. I really don't think my story is going to be that possible in pretty much any other country in the world. Right? So I'm enormously proud of what we stand for. I'm enormously proud of what we've achieved, but I'm also enormously excited about what we can do in the future, and that's why this election is so important. There is so much at stake Right? There are so many challenges and threats, and I'm the person that can deliver that secure future for all of you because I'm prepared to do the big things. I've got a set of beliefs and values and convictions that I'm prepared to tell you about, not keep chopping and changing. Because in today's world, if you don't know what you believe, if you don't stand for anything, then I can't stand up for all of you, right? And that's what the other guy's about, but I'm not like that. Right? I'm not going to say you always agree with everything I say, but I do believe in some things. I'm going to work hard for you and deliver a secure future for you and your family, and one where you can be really proud of everything we're doing. All right, good. Have we got time for one more? One more. Right, who have we got? Who have we got? Yes. Oh, where were we? Jonathan? Where did you see? No? Yes, go for it.
So mine sort of follows on from Dawn's, really. So with the national service stuff, do you then have a plan to look after people in the future when they've then left the forces? So obviously with the veterans, you have something, because you're going to have a lot more. You do, yeah. Look, we're really, I don't know, are there any veterans in the audience here today? Yeah? Oh, you are yourself. Where did you serve? So I joined at 16 and I was attached to the Irish Guard at AGC.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your service. So one of the things I really believe, and we talk about, one of the things that it is to be British, is that I believe, as all of you do, for people who work hard all their lives and put in, then we need to make sure that they have the dignity they deserve when they've finished, right? And that's why I've really protected pensions and the triple lock. And actually, you've seen our announcement today with Triple Lock Plus, where we're going to raise the threshold, make sure that pensioners get a tax cut and they will never pay tax on the state pension, as well as a triple lock going up, right? So those of you who are thinking about the future or thinking about your parents under the Labour, the potential future Labour government, pensioners will start paying tax. That will not happen under us. But the other way to do that is to make sure that this is the best country in the world to be a veteran. And that's something that I set out when I became Prime Minister. For the first time, we've got a minister in Cabinet. So there's a minister called Johnny Mercer. He's the Veterans Minister. And for the first time, he sits around the Cabinet table, because it's that important to me. And there's lots of things I could talk to you about, making sure that veterans get the health care they need, whether we've got Op Courage, Op Fortitude, making sure that they get the help with housing that they need. And then, as you said, making sure when they leave the services, they're getting the support they need. An event I did recently was making sure we help veterans get into fantastic jobs. Because as you know, you've got so many skills and talents and experience that most other people will not have. Right? And we need to make sure that actually the best business decision, not an act of charity, the best business decision that any business can make is to hire a veteran. Right? That's what I believe. And in my first budget as Chancellor, I think we cut the employment taxes for businesses that are taking on a veteran to make it easier, as well as making sure that we support you and your colleagues as you lead the services. So thank you for your service. I will not stop until this is unequivocally the best place in the world to be a veteran. You've done an enormous amount for our country, and we owe it to look after you when you leave. All right. Good. All right. Look, thanks very much for having me. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for your support for Jonathan. And I'm going to get back to very badly painting some more plates, I think. So, good. All right. Bye.